So today we're going to take a quick once around the village. I'm going to grab a noodle and we're going to discuss why in Thailand you are a walking ATM. And as ever on this channel, before we get going, these are just my opinions, they're not facts. They are my personal anecdotal experiences, along with those experiences and comments from subscribers that watch this channel. I'm not a legal professional in any way. Don't take any consultancy from me. I'm just a dude in a hat driving a Salang. I've got a couple of interesting anecdotes from subscribers to share in this vlog as well. And we're going to answer one or two questions that have come up. And I guess a good way to start this would be to talk about the obvious tourism side of things. Like when you're a tourist in Thailand and you're hanging out in the tourist areas, are you a walking ATM? Well, yeah, because those tourist areas are set up and designed to make money. People pay a lot for the rents in those areas. They want to make money. If you went to Blackpool and somebody had a shop there, they were trying to sell you something, they're going to try and get the best price that they can. These places are businesses. They're set up for money. So if you're a person that likes to complain that Thailand is full of robbing people that treat you like an ATM, and all you've ever done is hang out in the tourist areas, well, of course, like those businesses are set up in order to turn a profit. The hotels are set up to make money from you, the businesses are set up to make money from you, and that's the whole idea. So also, especially the bars and the people that work in the bars, they're also set up to take you to the ringers. They spend their time in a place where many of them don't want to be, often talking to a load of boring old drunks that they don't want to talk to, and they expect to be compensated for that accordingly. If you went to Las Vegas, all of those casinos, believe it or not, are set up to rinse you of your money. And so you are a walking ATM in Vegas. On a side note, but quite relevant to this topic, I often read comments on this channel that, oh, these girls are sent to the bars by their parents in Isan from these villages to work and to get money. It's disgusting, the parents are behind it and all of this stuff. I can tell you honestly, hand on heart, guys, I've lived in this village for a very long time. There are many girls that work in the bars and in that industry, but their parents don't have a clue what they do. They tell their parents that they're cashiers, that they are working in a restaurant or something like that. Many of them would be quite ashamed to tell their parents what they really did in the bars. So these commenters that are 2-week tourists in Thailand, you guys just don't have a clue. I will also say, I think in the US alone there are over 2 million people that work in the nightlife industry. Let's say these are prostitutes that work on certain streets, in certain areas, in certain casinos. There is also the escorting industry. If you are going to criticize Thailand, as you know, many people say, oh, it's disgusting, it's horrible, it's the sex tourism, all this stuff, then make sure you look at your home country as well. Like in the USA, there are over 2 million prostitutes. There are over 2 million users of OnlyFans as well. So what about the girls and the boys that are on OnlyFans? Often selling their ass on the video or meeting up with different people as well. Did their parents send them to do that as well? Are they disgusting? Is that industry just as repulsive as the Thailand sex tourism industry? I guess that's up for you to decide. But I digress. Back to the point. You're a walking ATM. In that industry, yes, you're a walking ATM. Those people offer a service. They expect to be compensated for it. And you are there to provide money. They're not there to love you. Just as the OnlyFans girls are not there to love you, you are a walking ATM. And if you meet somebody in the industry, you may find it difficult to separate the terms on which you met. You met on terms of business, quid pro quo. And if you end up kind of going with them in a relationship, you might find it quite difficult to do away with those terms. And so if you're longer than a 2-week tourist in Thailand, you plan to live here, you meet somebody long term under those conditions, you may find that you do end up like a walking ATM, of course. And a Farang husband is quite sought after by many of the girls that work in that industry. A foreign husband is seen sometimes as a prize in the village. He's seen as somebody that's going to bring in money for the family and as a desired prize within the village. That's just kind of the way it is. Now more and more Thais, especially in these villages like in Buriram, in Khon Kaen, are marrying foreigners. The study's been done at Khon Kaen University. It says about 15% of all marriages in the northeast, the study published, are now between Thai women and foreign men. Most of the men are Europeans, but they're upwards of 300 or so Americans. Many of them are veterans of the Vietnam War who were based in Udon Thani in the 1960s and early 1970s and are living here. Most of them are with Thai wives as well, so I thought that was quite interesting. And this article goes on to say, the truth is that deceit and tragedy, along with happy stories, are all part of the picture. Houses and land by law have to be owned by Thais, and so there have been cases where Thai wives simply expropriate the properties built for them by their foreign husbands, who they expelled, and then invited their Thai boyfriends to move in with them. A quote here, "I've seen terrible things here," Killy said. "Some women are married to Thai men and they tell their foreign boyfriends that they are their brothers. So they actually sit together with the foreigner, and the foreigner even buys their brother a motorbike. Well, not their brother, their fella, their husband, Thai husband." So that happens here, and at this day and age, you have to be pretty stupid to fall for it, because there's so much information here on YouTube, of course, and all around. Like, you heard the story so many times that to actually fall for that in this day and age will be quite difficult. And in that situation as well, I concede that you are seen as a walking ATM. You've built somebody a house, you fail to notice that their husband is not their brother, and you have not done enough due diligence on the person that you've married. You've probably spent a lot of money building them a house, like you've been taken to the cleaners. So I think I've outlined now 2 ways in which you are seen as a walking ATM in Thailand. First of all, as a tourist, and of course that's everywhere you go. You're a walking ATM in any tourist destination you go. And number 2 is you didn't do enough research and you were stupid about who you married. That can happen in the West too. There's many cases of men being taken to the cleaners in the West. So in these 2 situations, yeah, you are a walking ATM, but it's not exclusively because of Thailand or Thai people. Now we're going to get to the crux of this video, of a more general, are you a walking ATM in Thailand, and the point that I wanted to really discuss in this video. But first I'm going to order my noodle. Sangก๋วยเตี๋ยวเส้นเล็กได้ไหมครับขอบคุณครับกินนี่ใช่ครับ So what I really wanted to discuss on this video is the general assumption that you are in all cases a walking ATM. See quote here from from different subscribers that claim that this is the case. What I found in the 15 years that I've lived in Thailand is Thailand can attract a lot of beta males. So it can attract a lot of men that have not been very successful in their home countries, and maybe are very lonely, that don't have very good social skills, that are a little bit dim, that they're compulsively driven by their sexual desire over like using their brain to navigate life. That's not looking down on anybody, and I'm not trying to be judgmental in any way in that. I'm just saying that is sometimes the type of men that Thailand will attract, because here it's quite easy to meet somebody. It's not easy to meet somebody that's the right person, let me put it that way, but it's very easy to meet somebody. But that also sets a lot of foreigners that come here up, if that's their kind of mentality and way of thinking, it sets them up to fail straight away, and then that reflects badly on the rest of us. Because it can attract that kind of person is they set themselves up to get easily rinsed, and then when they're easily rinsed, obviously in the village, what the villagers see is some Farang dude comes into the village. This girl is like, right, you've got to buy shopping for the village, you've got to buy shopping for this person and that person, and this dude, because he's got no social skills and he's got no skills with women, all he's thinking about is like, well, she loves me and I've got to get laid, you know what I mean, and I want to get laid, and this is the real deal, and she really loves me. And then they end up getting rinsed, and all of these other girls are looking around saying, this is what I need a nice cash cow like that, this walking ATM. And now that is a particular case, and I have a comment here. Let me just read this one for you. My uncle has a bungalow in Nong Khai in Buriram. Every time he goes, he's the village ATM. I've been to his place a few times, and some of the people there have no shame. They just want, asking me for money, cheeky buggers. So that is a comment. I don't have the name there for that commenter, but this is the issue. If you concede and you're like the first guy I just talked about, and you give money, then that's going to be an endless process. You are only a walking ATM in Thailand if you choose to be. The reason that you're a walking ATM is for your own fault. You're a walking ATM because you went to the tourist place and you bought girls drinks all night, and you Charlie big timed it, and you become a walking ATM. You gave out the money. You did it. You created that situation. You're a walking ATM if you set up the modus operandi of a relationship as a business transaction. In the money for love. I have another comment here. This is from Caffeine Jogger. He says it's called money for love. It's a legitimate Thai law. My advice is take it from someone that's been burnt, is at least draw up a contract before any relationship if there is likely to be substantial assets involved. I would also say don't even have substantial assets involved for the first 5 or 10 years. Get to know somebody for 5 or 10 years first without any exchange of money whatsoever. Then you're not a walking ATM because you cannot be a walking ATM. Now, this is all very much on the line of kind of manifesting. You become the walking ATM because you manifested that reality in a way. I don't follow the whole gurus and spiritual teachers that say we manifest our own reality individually. A family of 4 living in a war zone don't manifest a bomb being dropped on their head as they sleep at night. They didn't manifest that reality. A girl living in a war zone doesn't manifest people coming in and taking advantage of her. You're not manifesting those realities. I think collectively we manifest realities, like for example, the reality of money. We agree that it all has some inherent value, and because of that collective agreement we manifest a reality. But individually, I don't think we manifest our total reality. However, we do make choices in life that push our reality in one direction or another. And if you start off a relationship by saying, I'm happy to support you X amount per month if you love me, that's the reality you're going to create. And that's a never-ending money pit. You've become a walking ATM because you said, hey, I am a walking ATM, and when you need money, I'm going to be the one that gives it to you. When you need something, come and ask me. And so let's get to the crux of this point with a comment, and this is from Anthony Campbell. He said to ask, how do you stop becoming the village ATM without upsetting those family members, as in their eyes you have a good income, a good salary, and there to help them? So I answered Anthony about 2 months ago on this, but it's been kind of simmering in the back of my mind, I guess, something to talk about on this vlog. And my answer to this is, you don't set up that predicament in the first place. Actually, only you need to know how much money you have, what assets you have. Nobody actually needs to know how much your salary is. They only know your salary because you told them, or you told your missus and then she told them, which I'd say is a very, very bad sign. Even some things I will tell Damo and I will ask her not to share with the family, and I found that over the past 10 years she's been very good at that. She doesn't share it with the family and doesn't share it with the village. There are some things that we keep private. There are many things I keep private from this vlog that I don't share with you. Some things aren't supposed to be shared. Sometimes we should have some things that are private, and I think your personal finances, when it comes to love, one of these things. So you might be holding X amount of Bitcoin, you might have a property somewhere, your salary might be a couple 100,000 baht a month. You don't need to tell them what you've got. You can just say, my salary is 50,000 baht a month. And you keep that between you for a number of years, like for 5 years, 10 years, something like that. And then if it comes out in 10 years, there's a big surprise. By the way, I wasn't fully honest with you. It's actually 200,000. I managed to save 100,000 every month for the past 10 years, and now we can retire. Going back to my example of Anthony's question there, though, it's like, how do you not become the ATM? Set the precedent early at the start that you have a little bit of money, but you're not rich. That's a good way to start. I mean, Damo met me when I was pretty broke at that time. And see if she loves you anyway, because the love's got to come from that. The love can't be of the money. And this is This is not a rare situation, mine and Damo. People say, how did you meet such a nice girl? People that have watched the channel, they know Damo. How did you meet somebody? Loads of my subscribers have wives like this that are not interested in money at all. In fact, I think it's the majority of my subscribers anyway, not the minority. So set the precedent early that you're not going to be an ATM. Don't create that reality to start with. There's no reason why you should ever be approached, like in that commenter's comment, by the village for anything. I've never in this village been asked for money by anybody in the village. Nobody has ever asked me for anything here. Not even our builders that worked on our house didn't ask for tips. We gave them a tip. They've never asked for anything. So I guess if I set a precedent though of, I've got a big salary and I've got a property here and a property there, and the villagers come and I'm like, yeah, you go, like, there's 1,000 baht. Oh, yeah, you're all right. There's 1,000 baht. Of course, that person's going to come back. What is it? I mean, I was thinking the other day, charity breeds dependence. Charity breeds dependence, what I found. It starts off as charity, so you give, then it becomes obligation because you feel you're at a higher financial status or you're in a luckier position in life and this person isn't, so you kind of feel obligated to give, moral obligation. And then it becomes, you make that person then somewhat dependent on that income. I'll give you an example of this as well. Flash deliver our packages every day, and we have a lot of packages arriving because we're out on the farm in rural Thailand, so we don't always go shopping for everything. And I started scan paying with him, and I see him, like, he's a young lad, he's working his ass off. Sometimes he's driving his motorbike in pee and rain. Some of our packages are quite big, and I thought, I'm going to just tip him. So I tipped him like 30 baht, something like that. That's enough to buy some food. But he delivers packages every day to our house. And so I just started tipping him 30 baht. And then I noticed he started to why, a little bit more. He wasn't begging. He's a very nice young guy. But then I started to feel the moral obligation that every time he delivers a package, I'm going to put this extra 30 baht on, which is nothing, but it's every single day, yeah? And now I wonder, because I've done it for so long, maybe a couple months, is he not there kind of depending on that 30 baht? Because his salary's shit all, his salary's like 9,000 baht a month, probably. I think it's even less than that, and then he gets commission for the packages that he does. But then is he now kind of dependent on that 30 baht? And I've gone now beyond obligation. I've manifested some dependence, you know what I mean? I've committed to keep giving it to him because it's only 30 baht. But if you did that on a larger scale with a village, like Anthony seems to be doing, no offense, Anthony, it's what you've said in your comment. But if you're doing that on a larger scale, like, you need to cut that. You need to cut that because it's only going to be an ongoing bill. Don't breed the moral obligation, don't breed the dependency, then you will not become a walking ATM. And let me just go through this last comment. This is quite a long one. This is from Defasendis. My recipe, number 1, don't own anything in Thailand, rent everything, car, home and furniture. Maybe, like, rent everything, like, you can build a cheap house. My house was very, very cheap. If you've got children, you don't want to rent stuff, you don't want to throw money away renting. That money could be bought for Bitcoin for your kids. You don't want to throw money away renting a car either. Like, you can buy a car in your own name. So you can buy a car in your own name here, number 1. If you've got children, you want to leave them a house, number 2. So I understand, like, if you're a short-time tourist, fine, but, like, if you live here... So my camera overheated there. Let me continue. Keep all your liquid assets outside of the country and transfer into Thailand as you need it for the following month. I think that's a good idea. Point number 2, it's, as I was saying, like, hold your cash reserves in Bitcoin. That's what I do. Your investments can stay outside the country. You can bring it in as you need it. Of course, now you'll be paying tax on some of that in some situations. Number 3, shack up if you want in your rental condo, villa or place, but never marry. I guess it depends on your age as well. Like, Never married, like never get married. There are a lot of benefits of getting married. Like my visa, for instance, is a good benefit of being married. Our business is a good benefit of being married. Like you only have to have 2 Thai staff instead of 4 Thai staff. You've got kids, it's a little bit different. I guess this person may be talking about like a single man. He said, if you are a 50-year-old expat, you should not be dating or living with a 30-year-old Thai woman. That solves the aging parents and young children issue. So I think you can date somebody I don't think that age difference is particularly bad, but yeah, having children with them, that could be not so fair on the children, right? So yeah, I'm halfway with you on that one. Never give your Thai partner a credit card, only bank card and cash. If you are a stable guy with resources and no addictions, she will accept what you offer and she will figure out that you are the best thing she has on offer. If that goes south, start all over again online, same recipe with the next lady. That's the point. She's the lucky one, not you. They may not be happy with your recipe, but they will accept it. So, okay, give your Thai partner cash. Yeah, I think that's right. If they make their own money, like this guy is clearly not taking into account like most Thai women are modern, independent women that make their own money. We're only talking about a very small percent. He's talking about like bar girls, he's talking about working girls, he's talking about jobless girls from the village, that kind of thing. Most Thai women have jobs, they make their own money. They're not interested in farang. I'm trying to pronounce my farang right because people I say farang because I'm lazy in English, but it's actually pronounced farang. Somebody pull me up on it. It's only ever expats that pull me up on my Thai. Thais never pull me up on it. And for me, the important thing about Thai is not who's got the bigger penis and who can speak the best Thai. It's about, can you be understood? Can you have a conversation? Can you be understood? That is the main thing about Thai. But that's besides the point. Back to Thai women. Many Thai women, they're working in banks. They're doctors, nurses, teachers. They make their own money. So these kind of rules don't apply. I think he's talking about like more these kind of girls that you pick up. And I think that those rules may then apply. If you're like me and you got married, I found a good person, that we're friends, that we're equals, that we work together very well as a team. Like, I couldn't have done a lot of things I've done without Damo, and she couldn't have done a lot of things she's done in life without me. So as a team, we built our house, we have our children, we have a business and all these things. It's we've worked good as a partnership, you know what I mean? So those rules may not apply to me, but they may apply to a lot of others. So please do leave and share your personal experiences. I'm always interested to hear personal experiences. Will you think I'm just full of shit? Will you think actually you agree? You know, happy to hear it. Welcome all comments. I'm just sharing my input, my experience. As somebody that lives here, take it or leave it. It's not always right. My opinions are always subject to change as well. But yeah, are you a walking ATM in Thailand? In some cases, yes. Do you have to be? No. And, you know, just be smart. You don't have to. This is in all countries. Are you a walking ATM in the UK with your missus? You know, in Russia, so many Russian wives with very rich husbands. Desperate Housewives in America, that whole show. I haven't seen the show, but I assume it's something like based on desperate housewives, like quite rich. Whose money are they using? Well, the husbands. So are their husbands walking ATMs? Some might argue yes. So in this world, you're pretty much a walking ATM in anything that you do, right? So much of this world is governed by money, and so many people are false and fake to you only in the pursuit of money, and you are false and fake to some people in the pursuit of material gain in many ways. Like, I think it's a big challenge of our whole lives to not use people that way. For all of us to be like, help somebody for the sake of helping, be friends with somebody for the sake of be friends with them, and then you'll have real, pure, authentic relationships and not just a transactional relationships, you know what I mean, about mutual exchange. What can I benefit? What can I get from this situation? Is it money? Is it sex? Is it financial freedom? Is it material things? Like, if more of our relationships were built on just kind of trust and love and respect and wanting to have solid, authentic relationships, what would the world be like, right? So I think I've finished for today. It's been a bit of a long one today. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've had my noodle already as my camera overheated, so I had a bit of time. And now back to the build. We're now building on the farm again. We've got a build going on. We've got the builders there. So you can head on over to my other channel and check that out. Don't forget my links in the description. If you want a VPN, Surfshark VPN below. If you're based in Thailand and you want to try out some lion's mane mushrooms, some reishi mushrooms, some cordyceps mushrooms, there's a link below for that as well. And you can get yourself some mushrooms and see if they have any benefits in your life. Take care, guys. I'm sure I've missed some stuff. Do leave it in the comments. I really do enjoy reading your comments. Cheers.